We're back, Border Barrels in the not-so-good shed, having a couple of beers, and we have not hit play on the video.
Keep that for posterity.
So, yeah, I think we'll just keep it going. Huddo is just playing the video, and we can just pretend that start didn't open.
Welcome back.
Yeah, and 5, 4, 3, 2, Border Barrels back. Another Beercast. Having a few on a Sunday afternoon. I need to admit something early. I'm belted.
Belted.
Yep. So I've been to Bridge Road Brewers earlier. Went down to Beechworth. Lovely there. And I have a conspiracy to unveil. So I've had the New Sky. It's New Sky, isn't it?
Yeah, the
New Sky.
New Sky.
New Sky, Volume 1, IPA. I've got this in front of me. So I had a pot of that. I had a pint of that. And now I'm having a can of it. But the conspiracy is that it says 8%. Now, I sat back last night and had a 10% Mountain Culture beer and felt fine. This has done me in 3 times.
Did you have the Mountain Culture, though, after dinner?
That is...
And did you have the first pot pre-lunch?
Yes.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, so as you know, I do intermittent fast, and I hadn't eaten anything for a long time, so that's probably what it's done. But, yeah, I just reckon that this buddy, I reckon the hydrometer may be broken at Bridge Road because it just seems a little bit more boozy than 8%. But it is absolutely delicious having it another time, and I would have to say that West Coast is not my sort of style of choice. I like East Coast sort of hazy, sort of DIPA style, but this is absolutely delicious. It's fantastic. But I do question the hydrometer because I reckon it's a bit more than the 8%.
Well, I was just going to ask because you don't really like West Coast IPAs, but this is a California IPA. Well, now, I know California's on the West Coast.
Okay, that's good. I thought I was going to have to break that to you.
I went over there and then flew to New York. I'm like, yeah, but they're both East Coast.
Yeah, why did it take so long?
I know. I was just kind of seeing if there is a difference between California IPA and West Coast IPA.
It might be. Might be the hop profile, the malt profile, something. It tastes pretty much like West Coast, if I'm honest.
Yeah, there's something to it though. I know, Bridge Road, fresh take on the West Coast DIPA. Okay. Don't know.
Well, it's pretty good, but still.
Good from us. Great.
I'll tell you what, if you're driving, don't drink it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it'll send you.
Don't drink any and drive.
Well, yeah, sorry. That's true.
Have you got anything more to say on it?
Not really. It's just it's delicious. I can't wait for the second volume, and I don't know what they're going to do because, you know, they sort of covered them in the Ned or Need series, whatever it is. I think it's a rebrand of that because no one knows whether it's Ned or Need. But I don't know whether they're going to continue on doing IPAs or what the go is. But this one it's almost a massive step up. Like, I was very stoked to see all these hops. So Cashmere, what is it? Azaka, El Dorado, Columbus, and Magnum. I'm like, they're all American. They're going all in on this. So Azaka,
David
Azakarakis. But yeah, that was delicious. Yeah. Delicious. Yeah, I would recommend it. Got it from Lane Cellars. This one, I reckon it would be at East Albury IGA for those local people. And on probably Honest Promise and all those other places as well.
Yeah, it's on all the websites, I assume.
Yeah.
I just quickly found something. The key characteristics of a California IPA would be a beer light in colour. Not sure about that one. With a clean malt bill, often just a lager malt that allows an unabridged hop expression. I noticed that versus like other West Coasts now that I've read it. West Coast IPAs tend to be like, here's the bitterness, whereas that didn't have it.
Well, perhaps that's why I like it a little bit more because I would say I'm not, despite me liking beer, I don't like bitter, which is...
You are a bitter person.
Yes.
But you don't
I don't like bitterness in my beers as much, but I would say this has the correct amount. It's sort of a soft sort of bitterness.
Yeah, so because of this, we'd expect a wider spectrum of possible flavours to come through in the style than in a West Coast IPA. Pretty heavily hopped, more so than a quintessential West Coast IPA, so a natural haze could be present, but not always. Yeah. There you go. So it is different.
Oh, well, there you go. Touche. And yeah, it's very good regardless, and I'm glad they made it, and you should all get around it. And if you are in the Albury area, just duck down to Beechworth and get it straight from the mother's teat.
I was going to say the teat.
Yes, I couldn't help it. Sorry.
Beer teat.
What else? What have you got over there, Hud?
I have one from Banks Brewing called Run With It. It is a DIPA. Double IPA.
Excellent.
No blurb. So
blurbless.
Mark down.
Yeah.
Even if the beer is a 10 out of 10, I can't give it a 10.
I also feel like it's a missed opportunity, Banks, and we'll tell you this when we go down there. But I feel it's a missed opportunity by you guys because, judging by the names, I reckon you've got some good blurbs in you.
Yeah. They're creative with the names.
They're very creative with the names, and they're very cool and funny and that sort of stuff. Like, Run With It. What was it about the Nintendo?
Yeah, something Nintendo.
Yeah, I don't know. They're all
That's an
quite
expensive Nintendo.
Yeah. Shout out to Claire. They're all very clever. But yeah, blurb. We like the blurb.
Yeah. It does say Vic Secret and Citra hops though. But I did find a blurb on a reseller's website, and it says, with a juicy and tropical aroma that follows through on the palate before finishing with a West Coast orange citrus dankness.
Would you agree?
I haven't had any.
All right. Well,
I like to keep my first taste live.
Yeah, oh, fair enough. Yeah, good on you.
So I can smack my lips. Yeah. Yeah, it's got that orange. I don't know if I like orange in a beer.
Yeah.
Remember my first homebrew?
Yes.
It was like an orange Carlton Cold.
Yeah, it was an orange Carlton Cold. But I love Carlton Cold and I like orange.
Yeah.
Separately.
Yeah, it's got that kind of West Coast, like we were talking about with yours. Well, in contrast to yours, it is very bitter.
Yeah.
And dank.
Yeah, this probably... That's one thing about this that I would say. Having a bit of a smell, it sort of it lacks that dankness that a West Coast normally has, which I know what that is. And dankness, for those at home, my understanding is like this smells like weed.
Yeah,
don't you reckon? It's a bit like pottish.
Not smells like, because that's pretty tough, but it definitely has that like kind of dry.
But it's got notes,
dry taste. And the Nintendo beer was hanging out playing Nintendo. Yeah, not to undermine Banks, but to get I want to talk more about your beer.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Because this is great, but it's a bit more generic. It's probably one of the first California IPAs we've had, and it's because it's going to be a series, and you and I are both very easy to please if you put a volume 1 or an first edition or just the number.
We're real suckers for it. We want the second and the fifth.
Yeah, we'll buy them all. Like Pursuit of Hoppiness, we went all through them. We went through the Ned series. There's got to be something behind here that from the D-Cats they did. As soon as you tell us there's going to be a series, we're in.
We're interested.
And this isn't to say that any of the Neds were bad, but that's better than every Ned.
Yeah. No, I would say that series, the Ned series, got better as they went on.
Yeah.
I would say early on, I was like, ooh, like the first hazy, I was like, oh, I don't know. But by the last oat cream and
what was the cryo one? Was a standout.
Yeah, it was basically.
7?
Yeah, I don't know. So there was a cold IPA for me, which was the Silver Fella, and I reckon that was pretty early. That was delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cryo was good. Was that the green one?
Wasn't it the purple one?
Oh, good. Oh, yes, it was. Maybe we should have a look.
I'll Google it. Here we go. Bridge Ned, volume 1. What was that? That was the Hazy Double.
Yeah.
That was the first.
Yeah.
Banger. Bonga. Second, West Coast.
Yeah.
That was... Yeah, see, I feel like they're kind of building into more experimental.
Yeah.
So then you go a Hazy at volume 3.
Yeah.
Volume 4. I wish we could have a screen so people can see.
Yeah.
That was the Tangerine West Coast.
Yeah,
which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was quite good. Because
you don't... tangerines aren't really... Is tangerine a mandarin? Or
So
different, or
I
like
reckon
a kumquat.
I will look up a tangerine. I believe it's a hybrid fruit.
Because like I feel like you just don't see tangerines at Harris Farm or anything.
Well, if you don't see them at the farm, you don't see them anywhere.
5 was the cold IPA. That was a good one.
Yeah.
6, what'd you have here? The Dip Hop Triple Dry. Dip Hop TDH.
Yeah, that was good.
Dip Hop Triple Dry Hop,
Yeah,
I guess.
that one.
Now,
yeah.
what's Dip Hop? That's another thing. There's too many ways to hop. This was the one I like, the 7, the Cryo Hazy.
Yeah, that was pretty good. The old
That was-
purple dog.
That was a good dog. Good dog. 8, New Zealand Double Dry Hopped Hazy.
That was quite good too. It had some kiwi in it.
We're building to number 9 was the Yakima,
Yeah, that was good.
and then the final
Oat cream.
oat cream.
Yeah, that was delicious.
I think they definitely peaked.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's-
yeah. They were
might have
getting
been-
better every single time, and they've continued that on with this series.
And I think it's a good thing for them because it sucks us in again. It's like when you change, like it's a new series as well,
Yeah.
so it kind of lets them do other things as well. I guess with the Ned series, it was very like IPA based. Maybe with this new Sky, they're able to do twists on. Well, I assume this is like the California IPA is a twist on the West Coast IPA. So
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, like the next one could be a hazy IPA, but it's like there's a massive twist to it.
Well, it could be sky's the limit for Bridge Road. Who
Hey.
knows? Maybe that's what it is.
Tagline.
No, but good on yous. Keep making them. Keep making them. Absolutely delicious.
Yeah, and like I said, probably the best beer they've released.
I would agree with that. Or apart from Egg Star, or
Yeah.
or in inverted commas, chocolate porter. We know what's going on there at Bridge Road. That's sneaky little chocolate porter or Egg Star. That is a delicious chocolate ale. Absolutely.
And you didn't like it, but the Magic Christmas Unicorn I love with the vanilla.
Yeah. I
was all
a
about
bit
that.
unsure. But I'll still get it every time,
Yeah.
every Christmas and that sort of thing. Then different take on it, but that's good.
Christmas.
But we've got some other beer stuff to talk about that you and I
Yeah.
also did. You can probably introduce it because you'll remember all the names and what it was called. I was there, but
in body, but not in mind.
yes,
apparently.
essentially.
So we did a tasting of sorts. Something called Science Made Beerable. They presented the Experimental Science Night. So there were 4 breweries that took part. So 4 beers in the little 4-pack. Makes sense. 4 beers in a 4-pack.
Yep.
Whoa!
Who'd have thunk it?
All right, so they've just blown my mind with that. But what it was, so basically the 4 breweries each got one of the 4 elements of a beer, which are water, yeast, hops, and malt.
Yep.
So
Tick. We got that correct.
Pass,
Yep.
yes.
Well done.
that was the big one. So first cab off the rank now. I've just lost where I was, so that was good.
Well, welcome to my world.
When your brain doesn't work like it used to before. Stall. The first beer was from Shambles Brewing. Good from me.
Yeah.
So that was the
Water.
yes, they had water. So they brewed a Burton lager and named Burton because they replicated the water chemistry of the water found in Burton upon Trent.
Burton on Trent. Yep.
Somewhere. Someone's upon someone.
Yeah, someone upon someone.
Where it's like super, super dense in terms of like the calcium and
Yeah, so
sodium
they were
and-
talking about, and you
what's
may have
the
heard the
word?
term before, they're talking about hard water versus
Yes.
soft water. So soft water is something that is quite pure and doesn't have too many elements to it and many, not nutrients, but minerals. But a hard water is very mineral dense. So
Yeah.
example, you know, when they show like a picture of Chicago during the day,
Yeah.
in Chicago, I know they do it during St. Pat's Day as well, but how the water, and in Canada, how there's like all this blue-green sort of
Yeah.
water. So that's classified as sort of a hard water because there's a bunch of elements in there that reflect from the sun and make the water a different colour.
Right.
But if you're in Tassie, it's just clear as day.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what
Yeah.
they were saying. So Shambles being in Tassie have what you would almost describe as perfect water.
Yeah,
Like
it's sort of neutral.
the water
yeah.
is just water.
Yep.
That's all it is.
Yep.
So they, use this weird water. Not weird water, but dirty.
Well, they
hard.
had to reverse engineer it. So they had base water, and then they're like, right, we're going to put in salts and all these other things to create the pH profile that is the same of that area of Burton-on-Trent or whatever it was. And as a result, they made a lager, but it was kind of like an aggressive lager.
Yeah, well, it had like it was darker than a traditional lager. It wasn't as see-through.
Yeah.
It wasn't as clear. Would probably be an easier way to describe that.
Yeah.
But and the taste, it wasn't as clean, but not in a bad way.
Yeah.
Like, I actually preferred it over a standard lager because it almost had a bit more to it.
Yeah, it was interesting. And I know we've had, there's a bunch of beers from Tasmania that we've had, but that traditionally, like, you think of Cascade and that sort of thing when we're thinking about an original lager that's really clean, crisp and that sort of thing. And so it was not this. It was a bloody Burton. What'd they call it?
Burton lager.
Hard lager or something?
No,
or?
just Burton lager.
Yeah, well, anyway.
It's called Hard Science.
Yeah, because of the science of the water. But yeah, it was quite interesting because water's probably the most boring one, if we're honest.
They admitted that too.
They admitted that. But there was a lot of discussion around it as far as like, Heineken everyone has their signature water. Like, it's the same with...
or signature yeast as well.
Signature yeast as well. If we're talking about water, so New York, right? So a big New York slice. So it's the water that makes the difference. So if you're making a New York slice, you could have the same water conditions to make the dough. Otherwise, it does not taste the same. Yeah. So similar with beer. So that's the way they went. It was quite interesting.
I think it's more just the experimentation of water is not done, but they all kind of agreed that if you're a home brewer, water is the key. Getting good water is the key to having a beer that isn't shit.
Yes.
Like, you get good water first and foremost over hops.
Yes.
Malt.
Yep.
And yeast.
Yep. So, and all the rest will fall in. So.
And also, what were they saying as well? Like a fresh yeast is key as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that was the first one. Second one was the Shapeshifter Brewing out of Adelaide.
Yep.
They did the Cause and Effect, which was an experimental hazy pale, and theirs was hops. Yep. And they used a brand new hop developed by
HPA.
For any border locals, you might have seen it on your drive out to Bright in Eurobin.
Yep.
So they used, what was it? HBC 033.
Oh, good on you. I was going to say I got nothing.
Which was a mix. It's like the son or daughter of Pride of Ringwood and another one. But the Pride of Ringwood, every single beer drinker knows without knowing.
Yes.
None of us knew what Pride of Ringwood was, but it is the main hop that CUB use in all their beers.
Yep, and it helps to get the bitterness.
Yes.
I believe you said.
Yep, so that's VB, Pride of Ringwood.
Yep.
So it's kind of interesting. Now, the point is that they're all experimental, and I think a few people in the crowd on the tasting night said this was probably the weakest in terms of flavour.
They slammed it.
What do you mean?
The crowd slammed it.
Oh, yeah, they weren't happy.
They weren't happy, and we tasted it, and we got, before the crowd, we had a smell, and we decided this is going to be the best beer I've ever had my entire life. Tasted it, we were like, oh, this tastes like chlorine.
Yeah, and not chlorine, wasn't it medicine or something? What was the word that they used? For
oh, yeah, they used a very similar word, but it tasted like chlorine to me.
Yeah, right. Well, but then... it was, so each beer was paired with a food.
Yes.
Then we tasted this after having our food pairing of Crunchy Bar.
Yeah.
And it was that medicine or chlorine taste was pretty much wiped away.
Yeah, whatever the weird taste was, it was wiped away.
Yep.
And it was delicious.
Yeah, it was delicious. After the crunchy bar.
Yep. No, it's
So
fantastic.
cause and effect in a crunchy bar.
Yep, there you go.
Third cab off the rank is one of our favourites, probably our favourite.
Yep.
Mountain Culture, the Exploding Goats. They did a Belgian hazy IPA. Now, they had yeast. And the reason it is a Belgian hazy IPA is because they used a yeast that is not typical for an IPA style of beer.
Yep.
It is typical in a dark Belgian beer.
Mm.
And this, I'm not saying this because it's Mountain Culture, but this was the standout.
Yeah, it was good. It was delicious. So
It's just always good.
yeah. Yeah, and they've already brought this. This isn't just a special edition in this pack. They do sell it
Yep.
on their website, and it was delicious. We tasted it and still tasted like Mountain Culture. So it was great.
There's just something about it. Maybe it's their water too up in
Well,
Katoomba.
yeah, again, it's quite possible.
But yeah, so they did a whole bunch of stuff with yeast, like we were talking about. Heineken have their yeast, and having the yeast is the prime. It's the reason beer is beer.
Yep. Yeah, yeast is the least understood thing for me.
Yeah.
I don't really understand how it works, but I know each of the breweries have their own signature strand that they won't share with each other. That's something that they won't share because it often makes them, it's a signature sort of taste. But
especially for
delicious.
someone like Heineken that's really big.
Yeah.
Like if they give away
exactly.
their science for their yeast, then everyone's making Heineken.
And this one was paired with hundreds and thousands biscuits.
Yeah.
And again,
Work.
the weirdness that was in it, you're like, oh, it's a bit weird. You have them, you're like, this is delicious.
Yeah, there was something that the snacks just took away.
And this was the pairing was done by Lindsay at Stomping Ground.
I believe,
so she is a bloody wizard as far as beer goes. She is the beer version of a what's the wine thing? I thought I knew the wine
sommelier.
version of it. Yeah. I can't say.
Well, it's Cicerone was the word.
Cicerone.
Certified Cicerone. So that's essentially, like, we Googled it, and it's not a process I'd want to go through.
No, it's epic.
To
It's epic.
acquire the certification. But yeah, basically just like can tell everything about a beer from its taste and then be like, I can pair this with this.
Yeah. And it was just on the money. And she was absolutely fantastic. And she also sort of ran the night as well. Like the questions, like we needed those questions to be asked because I'm like, I wouldn't have thought about that, but I do want to know that.
Yeah. So smashed it.
Yeah.
The fourth and final beer was from Black Arts.
Yep.
Black Arts.
Black Arts.
Black Arts, more like Black Arts.
Yeah, that's it.
It wasn't arse. It was great.
Oh yeah, it was good.
Which is funny because we had a discourse regarding Saison beers in the week prior and how we were like, Saison's got to go.
I openly said...
How do breweries make money brewing this?
Yeah, I openly said, if you're still brewing a Saison, you don't want to make any money.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which was pretty funny because as soon as this come up and it was like dark Saison, I'm like, righto, bring it on.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that it was dark, also it was very good. It was good.
Well, because I think the argument that you and I have with Saisons is you and I don't love the farmhouse style. I guess, like
which it is.
Natural sour stuff, and the flavour profiles that it usually has aren't really our go. Because it was a dark Saison, it didn't they? So they did malt. Didn't they use like a really chocolate heavy malt?
Yes.
So it was like
from Voyager, I believe.
Yeah, lots of flavours of like your chocolate, your coffee, all that, like a stout.
Yeah.
Almost like a stout flavour profile with the lightness of a Saison.
Yeah.
So it poured weird because we weren't ready.
Yeah.
It tasted weird because we weren't ready.
Yeah.
And all these things came together to make something awesome.
Yeah, no.
And we weren't ready for that.
And we're like, this is awesome. And then we're like, what's the food pairing? And it was Vegemite and cheese shapes. Didn't know they existed. And it was the most delicious thing ever. And also those shapes, they might... be my favourite.
Really?
Yep. So barbecue was before.
Yeah.
These might be my favourite.
Pizza doesn't get a lot of love.
Yeah, pizza doesn't.
Pizza's good.
Yeah, pizza is good, but I reckon these are my new ones.
Yeah, they were good.
But I'll tell you what, we have a beer podcast and we talk about beer each week. But the questions from the crowd and the depth that people went into, Yeah, I don't know if you thought this before, anyone that listens, but we don't know a fuck about beer.
Yeah,
we don't
no,
know
we don't.
anything because these guys like are all home brewers and they're talking about pitching yeast and things like that. I'm like, man, I don't even know what you're talking about. But
Yeah.
we are the bottom of the totem pole, but we are trying to popularize.
Yep.
What was that? What did I try and say? Anyway, we're trying to get
polarize.
perhaps, but we're just trying to get craft beer into more people's hands. That's what we're trying to do. That's the mission. So hopefully we're achieving that. But
We're
don't ask
advocates.
us to bloody brew one because
Nah.
without the proper help, we'll probably something bad will happen.
Well, my analogy was basically our level is here,
Yeah,
which is probably floor here. We know
Yeah.
a little bit.
yeah,
And they're here.
yeah,
And we need, like, you can't just go from here to here.
Yeah.
You need, like, it's a ladder.
yeah.
But we were getting this information and our minds were not ready to comprehend even the words being used. Like,
Yeah.
they were using words that
Yeah.
I wasn't sure existed.
Yeah, and Lindsay's knowledge was through the roof because it's funny when people ask. Like,
I think it was Lindsay.
I think it was. If not,
I don't
sorry, I hope it was.
I don't know who hosted.
Oh,
They
well,
didn't
she was
actually
asking.
have
Well, she was asking excellent questions, regardless. but-
Whoever, yeah.
yeah, the questions that she was asking were so insightful. It's like you have to have like a ridiculous amount of knowledge to ask those insightful questions. But
Yeah.
yeah, she was fantastic. It was great.
Yeah, but it was really cool. It's something different to what we've done with
Yeah.
beer before.
So yeah, that's right. And speaking of, so Lindsay, I believe, is from Stomping Ground, which
Lindsay
is I
is.
reckon Stomping Ground is from Collingwood.
Okay, let me Google that.
That's
and
who I think
also, she may or may not be the person from the night, but she definitely is the brewer at Stomping Ground. We've narrowed that down. Lindsay Gregg is.
yeah. Well, yeah, she's from Stomping Ground in some capacity.
Collingwood, yes. Gips
Collingwood.
Street.
Yeah, there you go. Very
hence
good.
the pale.
Yeah, so we're very excited about this to announce that, yes. So Stomping Ground are doing a tap takeover at the Good Shed, which is our bloody local craft beer cafe. And they are doing not only a tap takeover, but on AFL Grand Final Day.
Yeah.
And we've been asked to come along. And
after the Akasha one. they
after the
thought,
Akasha one.
Geez, these guys are a mess, but we'll bring them back.
Yeah, so we're getting asked back for one more try. So we're going to do that, and we're very excited. We're going to have a chat to those guys. We don't really know the running order, but it's sort of day by day things are happening. We're all very excited.
Maybe people, if now that we've given notice rather than just showing up like we did for Akasha, maybe listeners can send in questions that they want us to ask.
No, it's a very good point.
Stomping
because
Ground and also Goods Shed. I think we'll try and get someone from the Goods Shed again. Maybe maybe not Dan. Not that we don't love talking to Dan, but there's other people that work at Goods Shed.
But there are a few listeners that did message the Facebook, Instagram page. They're like, you're going to continue the beer thing or whatever. I don't know if they continue to listen, but if you guys have any questions, because I've since had a look at their profiles and they are big beer fans. So
they probably know more than us.
Yeah, no doubt. But if they have any questions or anything like that they would like us to ask, please forward them in and we will certainly ask them. So yeah, touch under half an hour here, Hud. We might wrap that up.
I do love talking about beer.
Yeah, I know.
Not as much as I love drinking beer.
Yeah, well, that's, you know. All right, well, we'll wrap it up there. But we're very excited. We had a very interesting week in beer. We'll leave it there and we'll catch you next week. Bye.